Hi, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And today I'm here to talk about the most overrated piece of media of all time. A game I clearly hate and despise with every fiber of my being. A game that I clearly despise. Did you fall for my bait? No? What gave it away?
It's 2023, and when it comes to game releases this year, one of, if not the most highly anticipated game is the sequel to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, also known as Breath of the Wild 2, and also known as the game that is going to disappoint.
Okay, discussion around Tears of the Kingdom online has been very divisive. People either think it's going to be absolute garbage, or they think it's going to be another great entry into the Zelda pantheon. But the problem is that the Zelda team is famously one of the worst game developers in the entire industry. I mean, they've made so many games. And all of them are just complete and utter garbage. Like, they have no substance to them. They're not good in any way, shape, or form. They've only made one good game, and that one was on accident. So, it doesn't really count.
Okay, for real this time. All joking aside, I really gotta talk about Tears of the Kingdom and how polarizing the game is at the moment. There are multiple reasons why, and I can understand some of the reasons, but most of them fall apart once you think about them for more than like a minute. So let's discuss some of the problems people have with the game and why I think most of them are pretty unfounded. The game just looks like Breath of the Wild DLC. This one was fair until about a few weeks ago when the Tears of the Kingdom art book leaked and revealed what I and a lot of other people thought all along, which is that Nintendo and the development team are hiding everything about this game. Every trailer has been cut meticulously so to hide as much about the game as possible. I myself have seen some of the leaks and I didn't really want to, but I just couldn't help myself and I took a peek at like the 50 out of 204 pages. And I'm not going to describe anything from those pages, but man, if you have any worries about the game, let me tell you, this game looks incredible, and you have nothing to worry about. Nintendo is holding their cards close to them with this game, and want to keep the general public as spoiler-free as possible. Every trailer that has released for the game has been full of secrets, and they really want this air of mystery to surround the game. With Breath of the Wild, they had to convince us to get this game because of it being something so new. With this one, we kind of already know what we're in for, and we should be confident that the Zelda team will deliver something incredible. Which brings me to my next point. No faith in the developers. This one is just outright stupid, and a lot of people seem to be confused on this issue. Some people seem to be confused on how game development works, because some people have just been saying that they don't trust Nintendo. Now let me be clear, Nintendo is a company, and Nintendo's goal is to make as much money as possible. They're not your friend. They provide entertainment that we as consumers can buy if we wish. And while Nintendo has been guilty of producing some lower quality content with some games here and there, in the Switch era especially, with like the recent Mario sports games and such, they mostly develop high quality content filled first party titles. Also, for some reason, the recent controversies caused by the most recent Pokémon games, Scarlet and Violet, seem to have grouped Nintendo into the conversation relating quality control on the Switch. Even though the games are this way because of Game Freak. But I digress. This is the next mainline Zelda game, and it's being made by the same team that made Breath of the Wild. So come on! This is the Zelda team, one of the most prestigious development teams in the entire video game industry. This is a team that continues to pump out incredible masterpieces on a regular basis. I understand the mistrust with video game developers these days, getting games that are half-baked due to time constraints or laziness on the devs' part. But this is definitely not a team that anybody should be concerned about. I promise you will get your money's worth out of it. And speaking about money, this one I kinda get a bit more than the rest. For those of you who don't know, Tears of the Kingdom will be Nintendo's first game priced at $70 US. The general reaction to this has been very mixed. Some people are absolutely appalled, and others just say, okay, well this was bound to happen at some point, so it's not that big of a deal. While I'm not happy with the price increase, I understand why Nintendo did it. They looked over at Xbox and PlayStation selling $70 games, and Nintendo said, why can't we do that? So if you're upset about it, I don't know what to tell you. Games are getting more and more expensive to produce, and this is most likely the most expensive game Nintendo has ever made, because we already know that it's the biggest. The issue here is that Sony and Microsoft softened the blow with new next-gen consoles. which Nintendo isn't doing. They've already cleared up that this is going to be a case-by-case basis, and not every game will be $70, but it's still not the easiest pill to swallow. There's no right answer to this discussion, and honestly, my thoughts on the matter are that as a consumer, you should buy the games that you want to buy and you think are worth the price tag. As someone who collects video games, prices can be all over the place. I bought games like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on Wii U for $12, and it's the best 2D platformer I've ever played. And I've bought dog shit games for $50, like Pokemon Shield, where I was having a hard time just trying to stay awake while playing. Will I personally buy the game? Absolutely! Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time, so literally the fact that it's a sequel had me immediately sold. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in Breath of the Wild, so to me, $70 is a steal, especially considering the amount of time I'm going to put into that game. Tears of the Kingdom is my most anticipated game of all time, so even though I might be a total sellout, I think there's some interesting things about this situation to consider. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you what's best for you. It's you who has to make that decision.
But also, I really care what a multi-billion-dollar Japanese company thinks about me. So, it's okay. I'm self-conscious.